Hey everyone, welcome to the Good E-Reader radio show. This is Michael.
This is Peter.
And it's been a while since we did something
Yeah.
like this, and I feel since we did it, we're almost getting to the end of the year, and maybe it's like a good look back on, the big occurrences this year, things that
Yeah.
have happened, things that haven't happened. So let's look at Amazon.
Yeah.
So what I noticed this year is that this is like the first year in a long time that they haven't released any new hardware.
Nothing, man. I think the Paperwhite 5 is now 2021. And then last year they released the Paperwhite 5 16 gig variant, which is just kind of like a filler. And yeah, dude, nothing this year. They released some kids pro tablets and like the Max what do you call it, like laptop thing, and then a active capacitive pen, but no e-readers at all.
Yeah, tablets and Alexa devices, but with e-readers, they haven't really done anything,
Yeah.
and it's surprising. So what I've noticed in them, in the trend, at least with Amazon this year, was software updates. And they
Yeah.
probably released more software updates this year than any other year. So they really kind of focused on changing up like the interface for the Kindles.
Yeah.
I know for like the Scribe, they've released like at least 6 or 7 updates just for the Scribe,
I know.
introducing new features like better note-taking functionality, better PDFs, searching in PDFs. Like they've really gone to town to, instead of releasing something new, to just get the software side like really good.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard is that they've homogenized all of like the softwares for all like the Kindles they support now. So it's like 10th generation and 11th generation only is the only things they support. So
Mm,
they could issue support for one device, and you get the same sort of features for other devices, but they just like unlock or lock out like certain features and functionality. So despite the fact that the Scribe will get all this new stuff, that will still be on the Kindles, but it'll be like grayed out or not
yeah.
available in those e-readers. So I think it's easier for Amazon to push out updates now just because they've got the software side
Yeah.
in order now. So that's good to see. Yeah, it's just weird that they haven't released anything this year. I've seen some pictures that have gone through this year where I don't know if it's a web design error or not, but people have said that there's going to be an Oasis signature edition with USB-C. Have you heard about
No, yeah.
this?
No, I did not. That's usually you and the news publication team that are sleuthing to get the good um news stories. No, that didn't come across my desk.
Yeah, I've seen it
Pretty
on
crazy.
Reddit, and it's like, it's one of those things that only appear in a few markets. When you look at the Kindle, then halfway down, and it lists all the different products like
Yeah. Yeah.
Paperwhite Signature Edition. So in some markets, they're next to the Oasis, there's an Oasis Signature Edition, which,
Oh.
I don't know if it's somebody
If
jumped
that's
the gum early. It's
yeah.
it's been there for like 6 months. Like,
Right.
so people,
Weird.
there's been various Reddit threads like about it. So I think it just bears mentioning that it could be something that they're
Yeah.
thinking about releasing, but I haven't seen any FCC applications. Speaking of FCC applications, there's going to be a new Kobo e-reader coming out.
Yeah.
We don't
Good.
know when. Nectronics filed it on, which is what they do for all Kobo e-readers.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably likely going to be either the Sage or the Libra 2E. They're going to
Oh
add that
yeah.
2E thing to it.
Yeah.
So it's a singular device, but the FCC application never really like got into specifics like screen size or this or
Yeah.
that. So it features like the same like the model number as I think the Libra, but other people have said it could be the Sage too. But I think one of those two models will be refreshed likely first couple months of like next year. I think it's too late to do something this year
I was
because
gonna
it's
say
like,
that it's November, what, like 17th today, right? 16th. So like
yeah,
I can't recall any of the big three ever doing a December release. You know what I mean? They want to
Barnes and
hit
Noble
those.
did last year.
They did a December release.
Yeah, didn't they?
I'm
They
not
did.
sure. Let's check
I
it out.
think
We have
the
a catalog on
the
our.
the Nook Lowlight 4
You might be
plus.
right. Yeah, let's see when that came out. 4 plus came out. No, that was mid-year. That was July. And we
Maybe it was
had,
like the 4E.
oh, that's a good, yes. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think it was one of the 4E. So it wasn't like a new device, but it was like the eco version of the 4 at the time. Yeah. But it is kind of not common for the big three to do a December release. They usually want to hit those Black Friday, not Boxing Day, the fall sales, and then like the back to school sales is usually when they come out, or spring releases. So I doubt, yeah, you're right, it's probably too late now for them to actually come to market with something packaged, ready to go in stores,
Okay,
banners
it
up.
was yeah. So they've done a December release for the original Nook Lowlight 4 in December of
There you go.
2020, December
Yeah.
1st, 2021. So it's not out of like this world that
Yeah.
this might happen. But yeah, I think that's like it's too late for Kobo's marketing machine and everything like
Yeah.
that. I probably think it'll come out like before Mother's Day of like next year, because like
Makes more sense.
Mother's Day is always like a big thing for Kobo. Like they always like have big sales because like primarily women readers, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the trend. So
Yeah.
Barnes and Noble, they have just recently discontinued, or they have
Yeah.
announced that they're going to discontinue 12-year-old e-readers. So
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
uh the Simple Touch with Glow Light and a Nook Glow Light, they're shutting off services in April, and coming June, you won't be able to like even log into like new devices, or you
Yeah.
won't be able to buy anything from the store. So, I mean, for people that have hung on to those devices over the years, like generally probably the batteries are like long dead, because it's like,
Yeah.
but like it's sort of like these like lithium ion batteries can only have so many charge cycles before they start to degrade and things like that. I have heard about people who have bought new old stuff from like eBay or like third party marketplaces and stuff like that. And I just want to urge caution to, if you see those models on sale now, you're not going to have any type of longevity into a few months you'll be able to use them for. So
Right. Yeah.
probably
See,
don't think that anyone should buy them, even if you see one on on eBay like
yeah.
$25, like $10. It's like,
If it's
well,
factory sealed, then we're talking about something that hasn't been through any charge cycles. But yeah, if you're like, oh, I just found this crazy old Sony, or this old like Kobo, whatever, and it's 10 years old, that battery is toast. That's a decade of people like leaving it on charge, letting it deplete, not charging properly, charging to 100%, all that. So yeah, it definitely, the deal can always seem super sweet when it comes down to the price, but you're probably going to have to buy a new battery. But the good thing is, about some of those earlier devices like Amazons and Kobos and Kindles, they all had replaceable batteries up until 2012, 13 anyway. So you might get lucky and be able to just pop in a $14 battery.
yeah, those old e-readers, like especially the old Nooks, old
Yep.
Kobos, even old Amazons, like the
Swap
batteries
them
were
out.
replaceable.
Yep.
Because it was easy, because all the backs had screws. Now they're
That's
all
right.
like glued together, and it's
That's
impossible
it.
to like
They're
open them up.
sealed. Yeah,
Yeah.
unless you got a heat gun, you know what I mean? And you got those pry tools and stuff like that. Even then, sometimes the batteries are soldered in. We've heard reports. So they're definitely not user removable.
Yeah, I think for the most part, it's because they have to seal them up, because like a lot of the modern e-readers are waterproof.
That's correct too.
So
They
they
don't
have,
want you opening them up anymore. That's right.
yeah. And it's like, at least with Amazon, they sort of implemented the policy last year where they're only supporting like just a few generations of Kindle. And,
Yeah.
with older Kindles, it's like you're not going to receive firmware updates anymore, no security updates.
Right.
Like
And no Wi-Fi, no 3G on some of the devices. So it's like you can't even use the DX now because that has 3G only, which is no more access to 3G. And it doesn't have Wi-Fi on the DX. So if you have one, you can't even use it. You know what I mean? Like you have to
Yeah.
sideload in your content. But the Scribe has picked up the pieces and picked up the slack as being, like, the large screen Kindle. It's the largest screen Kindle they've ever made. So
Yeah, I mean, with e-readers, people hang on to them for 10 years, and it's like
yeah.
they serve the purpose. But technologies change, specifically like
Yeah.
cellular technologies change, like 2G, 3G towers are all gone now pretty
Yeah.
well. So if
Yeah.
you bought a Kindle with cellular capabilities, like especially older ones, you can't even use them anymore. So it's
No,
like
they're
Wi-Fi
done.
only.
Yeah, it's basically just like a relic at that point. Something kind of, it's a novelty to have something like that.
Yeah, just some people, collect old phones, that they've had over the years. They don't really throw anything out. Some people
Yeah.
just have a drawer full of old e-readers that they, instead, because e-readers don't really have much of a trade-in value, like
No, no.
Peter, I got like a 10-year-old Kindle I don't need anymore. You want to buy it for like $50? They're like, no, it's like useless pretty well.
Yeah, I just buy a new one for $50 when it's on sale. Or
Yeah.
I can go to Wish and get like a refurbished Kindle Paperwhite 4 for like $19. No, I don't want your stupid ass old drawer full of like sewing bobbins, and then you push all that garbage aside, you get this dusty old e-reader. No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So Onyx.
Yeah. Oh God, I just put my hands on my head with Onyx. Great company, great products, but can you just pump the brakes a little bit, those guys, man? It's like I think like you and I had a couple like board meetings and stuff, and we're just like, okay, which one is this now? So it's like this is replacing
Yeah,
that.
their product lineup is, and we follow this
Crazy.
as professionals,
Crazy. Yeah.
and it's too much. They
It's
have too
too
many
much.
units, but the
Yeah.
problem is with too many units is like they're all out of stock. Like
Yeah.
everything like that they announced like in the last couple months, the Palma,
Yeah.
what was it?
The Nova Air 3C.
The Books Tab Ultra Pro C Pro,
Yes.
the Note Air 3C,
Yeah.
all of those like things, even like accessories for them, like the
Yeah.
Nook Pro, or sorry, the the
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Onyx Books C Pro, and like the
Yeah.
keyboard case with trackpad not
Yeah.
available. So it's like
Yeah.
they launched it and it's like they were just sold out. So it's like you can't buy it from Onyx directly. You can't buy it from any of their
Right.
distributors. You can't buy it from anything. So it's like, whether Onyx was having financial issues or just producing too many units like at once, and just like, we'll do 100 of them, sell out 100, use that money for another production run. And it's like, I don't know what their business model is, but it's troubling that every year they almost release double the number of units that they released prior, including new SKUs and stuff like that, and you just simply can't buy them. So it's like, I think Onyx really needs to like consolidate into like 110.3, 113.3, 17.8, and maybe like, a few smaller e-readers like the Palma, or the Page, or whatever else that they're going to do, some manual page turn buttons type of thing. Having each one of those, including like a pro version, including a color version, it's like suddenly you have like 14 devices that you're selling. And it's just like, Onyx is not a big company, so it's like, I'm not surprised every new model is like out of stock, and they continue to sell stuff that's like 2 or 3. They're selling like the original Lumi on their website.
They're selling the Lumi, and they're not really pushing the Books X, which is the the one after the Lumi. Not only that, Mike hit it on the head. They got too much. Like for them to do the Tab Ultra C color and then discontinue it, say nothing, release the Note Air 3C, and it's like, what's that? What's that one? It's like, oh, that's the airline. It's like, wait, what? Okay. And then everyone bought that, and then they're out of stock, and they're like, wait, why is it out of stock? The Tab Ultra C Pro comes, is like, oh, what's that? It's like, it's got an SD now, but the one I bought 10 months ago didn't have an SD. Oh, at least I have the keyboard. No, it doesn't work on the new one. It's like, what? We moved the pogo pins to the side. So it's like, okay, so I just spent $800 on all this stuff, and then 10 months later, I got to buy and well now, like, so yeah, it's just there's too many overlaps, there's too much cannibalism with their own brand. They still have the Nova Air C, but they have the Tab Ultra Mini C, the Tab Ultra, and it's just like, oh my goodness, like, what are you trying to sell people on? And that's only the international crowd. They have a whole line of domestic units, like 15 domestic units, the Tab X, the Note X,
the Poke 5
6 or something, the Leaf 3, which they didn't release internationally because they got 2 Leafs, discontinued them both, jacked it up $50 and put out a page. So it's like, people are really having trouble, and Mike and his team on the news publication is like, oh, I got to rework everything, and let's put out this new article about what's new. And then we get 16 samples here in production, and we're like, okay, so we just got to redo everything, and then take all this information and pitch them to our guys who manage the store and the listings and everything, and have them change everything and be like, okay, the whole direction is flipped. They got 9 new devices. Let's go with this. And people had just bought the older stuff. It's a madhouse right now. It is.
Yeah, I mean, they're a strange company because they're the only ones that I know that release like 10 new devices like a year, or so, for the North America, for like the Western crowd, and then the same number of devices or more for like the domestic China crowd. So it's like, and they totally have different specs and stuff like that too. It's just not the same devices we have that are just retooled or something like that. They're completely different devices. So, I mean, they just rely on just selling hardware, and that's it. Like they don't sell software as a service. Like they don't have like a subscription plan where it's like you get, for a color device, they all have 16 colors. You pay $2 a month and you get 32 colors. That would be something that people would buy, and you can carry that from device to device. So it's not like you're locked into a specific device. Or if they were to have some sort of like VIP loyalty program where you can pay like, you can buy something at full price and then do like a trade-in or something like that to get like the Apple. Latest and greatest. If I want to upgrade to like a new iPhone and I have like the flagship model of last generation, they'll give me like $900 like towards like a new phone. So it's like, I'm paying like $800 for like the top of the line like new phones. So I know they sort of have this sort of stuff in terms of, they could do it. I think that they have to do it.
You know what it is? On that point, it's because they don't focus on the infrastructure in their company for second turn. And what I mean by that is Apple, when they take in your old iPhone 13 or 12, they recondition it, they refurbish it, they recertify it, and then they have second turn outlets that they sell as refurbs, recertifieds.
It's mainly international markets.
Yeah, but Onyx doesn't do that. They do one and done, and then it's like, yo, you just bought a Tab Ultra C. Well, that's gone. That's old. It's like, it just came out 10 and a half months ago. It's like, yeah, but it's gone. We have the C Pro. Buy this. And it's like, well, can I trade in? It's like, no. So it's like, okay, well, that's the end of that. And we're starting a new chapter of me buying an $800 product. So yeah, they don't have any second turn infrastructure within their company to be able to do that. So really, it just kind of saturates the market with 1,000 different models, and it leaves everyone kind of not knowing what to do with the direction of where they want to make their
Yeah,
purchase. And this is big
no
money.
loyalty program, too
Yeah.
many options, no software as a service. So Onyx is entirely reliant on selling hardware
Yeah.
to stay in business. And that's the only, and it seems like they're just like taking pre-order money, manufacturing them, taking pre-order money, manufacturing them. So it's like
Yeah.
they never have enough to fulfill all the outstanding orders on their website and
Right.
third-party distributors. Whereas a lot of other companies aren't in a boat. Like they have the ability, they're only selling 2 or 3 products at any one time.
Right.
Whereas like Onyx is, 20 products combined for all markets, and it's just too much. Like it's too confusing. And so these days it's hard to recommend Onyx to people just because it's a convoluted product line. If you want a digital note taker, look at Remarkable, what they're doing. They
You
only
know
have
what?
one product, or
You're
Supernote.
totally right.
They have 2 products at any
Fujitsu. Fujitsu Quad. Uh-oh. You okay, man?
yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Fujitsu
Fujitsu.
Quaderno.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2
it's really
products, 10, 13
something.
inch.
It's something to say that, like, for the past couple years, everyone was looking down on the more simplistic units for more features, Google Play, better pens, better functionality. But now it's like it's come full circle to the point where it's like people are a little bit over they're overwhelmed with the choices out there, that we've actually seen more sales and more inquiries and more customer questions revolving around the Fujitsu Quaderno than almost any other brand, because Fujitsu is a big international conglomerate. They make warplanes and they make escalators. They also make the Quaderno, and it's just crazy to see that someone would want something so basic. It's very good, but it's basic. It doesn't have Google Play and a glow light and all these fandangled Netflix streaming and stuff like that, but it works. And people are like, you know what? I see value in something that's purpose built and I want it. And we're just like, yeah, you know what? Wow, that's something to be said by the more simplistic manufacturers.
Yeah, and if you only have a product line with one or a couple devices,
Yeah,
it's way easier to
way
market, to get
easier.
a brand message across. Like,
Yeah,
Remarkable has just done it remarkably well in terms
they're
of,
just flat. Yeah,
maximizing ads on Facebook, on
yeah,
Twitter, on Google ads, and they're only advertising every one product. So
that's all they have.
they don't compete against anyone for any of those keywords. So they do it well. And Supernote, they have had the same units available for like 3 or 4 years now, but they
Yeah.
are coming out with new models.
Ah,
The AC sort of, they're doing a
Nomad, I
7.
believe.
Yeah, Nomad is for sure this year, and then they're doing like I think like a 10-inch and a 13.3 inch sometime in like early 2024, but they haven't even received like they haven't even filed FCC
Yeah.
applications yet.
The Nomad is this year?
Yeah.
Oh, we're running out of time. We only got 5 weeks left.
Yeah.
We are running
So
out
I
of
mean,
time, everybody.
that's what they say. They have like
Okay.
this roadmap that they publish like on their Supernote Reddit page.
Yeah.
And it's like always updated, and they update it with like, this is what we've added. And
Yeah.
so so they're coming out with a new model. I mean, it looks like they're using a different type of film.
Yeah, they were
writing
promoting that it's supposed to be they've always used regenerative films anyways to accommodate their ceramic tips, but they said it's like bigger and better and badder kind of thing. So we'll see how it goes. You're feeling okay, yeah? Because that's the most important thing. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just dry mouth, so it's like
It's all
just
good.
coughing a little bit.
Yeah,
But
we actually saw Supernote at the trade show we went to, CTEC 2023 in Tokyo a couple of weeks ago. We didn't cover them because they didn't have anything new. They didn't have any kind of software solutions we haven't seen before. They had the same pens that we covered, the Gen 2 Heart of Metal Samurai bronze plating, and they just had like the same old units, so we didn't film on them or anything. But we ran into them, and they're right next to the Dasung booth. And yeah, everyone seems to be doing well.
So Dasung as well as Big Me have both so they're both on crowdfunding campaigns right now for like 25-inch like Kaleido 3 monitors.
Yeah.
The Big Me one actually has both warm and cool lighting, whereas the Dasung is not like doesn't have any lighting like at all.
Yeah, the
So
curved one you mean, right? Yeah.
just so the current so Dasung has two. They have like a traditional
Oh yeah,
monitor and then they have like a curved
the
version.
curved one. Yeah.
Both of them don't have a front lit display. Only the Big Me one has like has
The glow
like a
lights.
front
Yeah.
light and a glow light. So they're both like on, I think they're both on Kickstarter, and they,
Yeah.
you know, they
Are
basically
those
just
over yet?
launched, and I think they raised like maybe Dasung and Big Me both had Big Me's raised less money just because they're like a brand that not a lot of people have ever like heard of. Whereas
Yeah, they're
like
not. They
Dasung has
haven't
been
been
in
as
a
international longer.
Dasung's been in a monitor game. That's all they do is like monitors, except
That's
for they're
right.
not an e-reader like thing that they did like 2 models for. But they, for the most of their like business life, they've all just done monitors. So it's
Just
finally
monitors.
nice to see companies doing like full color e-ink monitors now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're all expensive. They're all ridiculously expensive,
They're
you
very
know.
expensive. Even
Like
black and whites, man. Philips tried to get into it, and Onyx is getting into it. They're all just very expensive. Like a 13.3 monitor from Philips, good company, but 800 USD for a tiny little screen monitor. Dude, you can buy like a $40 LCD monitor anywhere. You could go to a used shop and pick one up, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
yeah,
for
there's
less
benefits.
money than the Dasung or the Big Me, I bought like an Apple Studio monitor with like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
and tilt adjustable
Yeah,
stand for an extra $300
I
than
know.
it would
I
have
know.
cost for like an e-ink monitor. So I
Yeah,
would love
that's
an
the
e-ink
name of the
monitor
game.
in my life. It's just like we haven't even gotten any of them to like review yet, just because like they're
No,
too
we haven't.
new.
We haven't gotten any of the color stuff. The no, we got the Ezai from Ezai, and we got the Philips from Philips, but none of the Big Me or Dasung yet. They're raising money via crowdfunding, kickstarting, and Indiegogo because they don't have the money to make 500 units at $2,000 a piece. That's why they do that. They don't have, hey, let's just throw 18 million at something that we don't know if it's going to work. That's why crowdfunding. So
Yeah, so
the way
the
it
the
goes.
Big Me monitor like is coming out February 2024.
Yep.
That's what I hear, and the Dasung one about the same time. So,
Yeah.
you know, crowdfunding with the intention of using that money for like a manufacturing run. And both those
Right.
companies have a pretty long track record of crowdfunding, but
Yeah.
delivering on products. So they're
Oh
they're
yeah,
both they're
there's
both
nothing
two
wrong with those.
trustable companies.
The only thing about Dasung is that although they make good products, anything they make that isn't a monitor is typically terrible. So just buy the monitors are great, but the tablets, the A4s, everything else is just kind of eh.
Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
I think we're good. Head over to our eBay page. We have a ton of things on there that have affordable prices, and we actually say that because we're trying to expand that second turn outlet, and hit it up if you have time.
All right, so keep on your browsers locked to goodyreader.com,
Locked.
as well as youtube.com/goodyreader for all of the videos. And for Goody Reader, my name is Michael.
My name is Peter.
Everybody take care.
See ya.